everyone, my name is Macy Gifford. Until recently I was in Syria fighting alongside the YPG. I went for a number of different reasons, mainly to highlight how little Britain is doing to actually combat ISIS and who we really should be supporting on the ground. Now, since I've come home, I've been trying to raise awareness of the conflict, trying to point out things that we don't really see in the media very often, and really try and raise awareness, I suppose. Now, the following video is going to shock you. This is going to have huge implications for the British state, for the Turkish state, but much more importantly for the millions and millions of people that go to Turkey every year as a holiday, for a holiday. Now, hopefully the video quality will be good enough. Basically, there are thousands of people online that support the Islamic State, but there are also hundreds, if not thousands, of people who go, join the Islamic State, commit the most horrendous acts of terror, and they come home and they're living amongst us. Now, the British and the American governments, they arrest them. They find them, they locate them, they arrest them. Now, I've got evidence here that Turkey, at the very least, this is going to humiliate them. And at the very worst, it shows that they really don't mind people, whether they're Turks or foreigners, crossing into Syria, fighting for the Islamic State, and then coming back. Now, it's probably best if I just go ahead and show you the video. If we look at this page, it's a very ordinary guy, Turkish citizen, grew up in Turkey, went to university in Turkey. Looks like a very ordinary page. In fact, here's him doing a selfie. Now, this is where the video takes a very, very sinister turn. If you look where he is, this was posted just a few hours ago. He's in Asmari Sahil, which is a very popular tourist resort in northern Turkey, which thousands of British holidaymakers go to every single year. And here he is on the beach. He posts in Turkish, "Let's go swimming." And in the back, you can see the old town where the cafes and the restaurants are, and everything else. And actually, if you look where he's been over the past couple of weeks, he's updated his statuses in a number of different Turkish resorts that are basically frequently attended by thousands and thousands of British subjects. Now, if we go onto his photos, you can see that he looks like a very ordinary guy. You scroll through them, he's just relaxing on the beach with his family members. He's clearly having a holiday at the moment. And as I said, you saw that photo earlier, which was posted just 2 hours ago. However, what was he doing 2 months ago? Now that's really important, because if we scroll down, the pictures start getting a little bit more sinister. You start seeing him posing with weapons. You start seeing him wearing uniforms. But then you start seeing him with Islamic State flags, and then you start seeing the most horrendous images. The worst one on here is the decapitated heads of Syrian soldiers that he's taken. There's a lot of propaganda on here as well, just clearly showing what is where his sympathies lie and all the rest of it. But if we go down towards the very bottom, because he was there just a few months ago, you start seeing the evidence of him wearing uniforms, relaxing with people, with AK-47s, and with PKMs, which is a heavy machine gun. You can see in this picture, he's the Islamic State flag in the background, in the middle of war-torn Syria, wearing a uniform, posing with weapons, with both ISIS fighters and with local civilians. You see him there with ISIS fighters. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to show you this, but the decapitated heads of people. In the background, you can also see him posing with weapons. Again, more Islamic State material on walls. The evidence just builds. It gets more and more as you start to see him not only wearing uniforms, but also posing with well-known ISIS fighters. You can see, again, as I said before, you can see where his sympathies lie with the propaganda. Omar Baghdadi, I should say, the leader of the so-called Islamic State, because towards the bottom you also see direct evidence of him in Syria posing next to signs and showing that he's deep within Islamic State territory, and posing next to large ordnance such as dushkas and heavy machine guns and that sort of stuff. You can see here again Islamic State fighters posing alongside them, hugging ISIS fighters on the backs of Dushka trucks, posing the Islamic State flag and posing with the decapitated heads of Syrian fighters. You can see by this, by him posing next to this sign, that he was deep within the Islamic State. Here's another picture with him online. Here's him relaxing with ISIS fighters with weapons. Now, this is a horrendous, horrendous image to see, primarily because, as I showed you right at the beginning of this video, this man, just 2 hours ago, and is still now, surrounded by British tourists in Turkey. And he is sitting next to you in cafes, in restaurants, and it is just unbelievable that the Turkish state, which is a powerful country, which has a very good, effective security service, isn't picking up on this. And as I said before, it shows you that either they're incredibly inefficient at stemming the tide of ISIS fighters that are crossing into Turkey, or they're actively supporting them. Now, it's very easy to go online and actually see how much Turkey is supporting the Islamic State, and how they would prefer to see all of Syria taken over by ISIS than see an independent Kurdish homeland on their doorstep, primarily because it would encourage more Kurds to seek independence in their own country. So you can see the causes of why they would want to help ISIS. But I mean, this is just unbelievable. Here's a guy who openly supports the Islamic State, has fought alongside them, is an international terrorist, and he's on our streets, on Turkish streets. So basically, the reason for this video is, if you're going to Turkey, if you've booked your holiday, if you're with your children, your family, your wife, do not go. It is a matter of time before there is a horrendous Tunisia-style attack on the people who visit Turkey. And I hope the British government picks up on this and turns around and says, look, the evidence is building. We can't allow this to go on. You have to do more to tackle ISIS, and you have to do more. You have to start following the international community and just start behaving like how a proper Western civilized country should, because this really is completely shocking. So I hope the Turkish state catches up with this ISIS terrorist soon, and I hope British holidaymakers heed my warning for their sake, if anything. Thank you.